Hi, so we're back here at Women 2.0 conference. I'm Arabella Santiago with StartupLive using our mobile cam, the M-Cam. We're here with Danielle Wyss. She is the founder of the newly launched Voca. So Danielle, let's talk about your new product here and how you founded it.
How I found it? It was really just a question of me as a citizen in a nation saying, why can't we all be talking about the same topic at the same time and let everybody in the nation be deciding what is the media conversation, what is the political focus, instead of them telling us. So if you get a critical mass of people around a single topic, then we can actually be saying this is truly how we feel, and not only just how we feel, but how do you break it down? How do you say, what is that by state? What is that by gender? What is that by age? And then let people go in and start to relate that to themselves. How do they fit into that? How do they stand out from that? So an engaging way to be a part of the nation.
So that's really excellent. And there's platforms that are like question and answer, like Quora. How is that different from Quora?
Quora is a great platform, and it's also anything under the sun that you can think of, all simultaneously. And there's absolutely a market for that, but what we think is that there's the ability to have a critical mass of people is the only way really to get politicians listening or the media listening. And on Quora or similar sites, topics are spread perhaps too thin. They're very, very specific. So we're trying to take the much broader approach and say there's a place for everything and anything, and there's a place for the really big ticket ones. And we think if there's one a day, there's only 365 a year, it's the biggest ones out there.
So that's excellent. And you recently launched this product. How long did it take you to develop it, and how many people on your team required you to come out with this great design and product?
It's been, since the idea was conceived, it's been about a year. As it was designed and then built, that process actually went relatively fast. The design probably took longer. Getting it constructed took the last 3 months. We had a MVP, a minimum viable product, which is this, sort of to play around and test. 3 months ago, we've been tweaking it, getting it to where we want, and then we just released last week. So all in a year. Without stumbling blocks for doing this the first time around, I would say maybe I could have consolidated to about 6 months.
That's okay. It's all about learning the process, right? Is this your first startup?
This is not my first startup. This is my first startup that I've taken live. I had another idea back in 2007. I'm an architect, residential architect by trade, and I had an idea to bring sustainably sourced products to the public in a way where people could vote and give their feedback on using them because they were relatively untested products. And I thought there was no interface for that, and I started going down the path of building it. Never went all the way. I thought it was a saturated market. I find today this concept still doesn't exist, but what it did was give me the foundation to understand how to go and do this one all the way.
And so you still have the confidence, even though that one idea didn't pan out. How did you keep yourself motivated to get another idea and work on this one?
I think it's probably in the blood of somebody who likes to do this. You know, it's a total roller coaster ride. You have to be up for it, and it's fun. It's the ability to take an idea from my head into reality. And as a residential architect, I actually get to do that all the time. I can think it up, and somebody's building it out there in the world, and it's really satisfying. And so to say, well, okay, that's affecting one family. How do I take that same thing that I love and make it affect a broader reach? Well, go to the web. That's how you do it.
Excellent. And one of the things that we loved about your setup here is the personality that you put up on your, exhibit here. So can you talk about these quotes and how that pertains to your product?
Right. Well, first of all, Kelly, my co-founder, and I are both females in a male-centric tech world. We're also architects in a tech world. So we decided that we were going to try and do something that tried to tie in what we do for a living with what we're trying to do now. So we tried to make it kind of feel homey in a way, but we wanted to highlight some interesting stuff. So the point being right now with these sorts of stats is that currently we don't know that blondes accurately predict the next president. It's a made-up stat, but the question is, why don't we know these things? Why can't we definitively say they don't? Currently, the stats look at one particular thing, and we want to say, well, you know what, if you get everybody online and you get them talking about it, there's so much more that you could be finding out. And that information is really interesting to people. So the ability to consolidate all of that data, separate it from the user's individual information to keep it private, and then use that to drive, media or marketing or the social conversation, whatever it is, to an end result that's actually more based in truth.
And that's excellent. And you mentioned something earlier today, and I don't know if it was to someone else, but you mentioned something about conversations around a dinner table. And can you talk about that particular idea in helping explain what your product is about?
Okay. When trying to describe this, we've come up with this idea that this could be sort of the world's largest dining room table, because that's where people come together to share their perspectives, to have a healthy debate, and that's what we wanted this to be, a place for a healthy debate. What that extended to is this idea that you could then take what's on the site and actually bring it back into your real world. You can bridge back from the digital into the real world and say, I'm in my office, we're all sharing the same topic of the day. What does everybody at work have to say about it? What does everybody at home have to say about it? What does my Canadian cousin have to say about this topic that actually affects the United States? I mean, you never know. So how do you take your dining room table, make it huge, and then bring it right back home again?
And you also mentioned before that you had some obstacles in creating this product with finding a technical co-founder. Can you talk about that process? Because I think a lot of startups go through that.
Right. I would say in my experience, the valley is dry, as they say right now. Everybody who has talent is somewhere and they love where they are. And that's a good thing for the health of the economy, but it's really hard when you're trying to start up. We had a start and stop with somebody that had loved the idea but wasn't quite capable of building it out. So then we turned to outsourcing. We've heard bad things. We had high expectations, and we did not have a great turnout for that. Took the product, and through conversations with people, just got connected to somebody who was very into this idea. We feel incredibly lucky. It's sort of, I was told by somebody, if your idea is good enough, the person will come to you, and it'll just all work out. And it has been that, and I don't know if that's just luck or if it really is just based on the concept. But
you put it out there, so is the next step funding for you?
Absolutely. The next step, our product roadmap is actually very large. This is our minimum product just to get it live. But we have really grand expectations. We think we could have a big effect on the elections this year. We think that we could be creating something really engaging for people to be using in a whole new way that they don't know how to use on the internet yet. And these are sort of disparate pieces of, one is a user experience and one is a consumer experience, and we want to build all of those out. So.
Excellent, and we wish you luck with that. One tip for other startups out there?
Just keep going. It was my mantra the whole time. There's a million stumbling blocks. Just keep going.
Thank you so much.